A good friend of mine, you remember Con from the conference? Anyway, he's an ex-principal, and he's helping me doing talks now. And he's got this thing, there's only 3 things that matter in schools: relationships, relationships and relationships. And he's got this saying, he says, loved kids come to school to learn. Unloved kids come to school to be loved. Think about that and think about your demographic. Social connection, number 1. Drugs in Portugal, what did it do? Fixed it. If you've got a lack of social connection, it goes to the same part of your brain as if someone stuck a knife in you. The same part of your brain, emotional pain, is felt in your brain. So let's be on the lookout for kids that are unloved. And we'll just do this for a minute. Or colleagues that are unloved. This is a great activity we're not going to do. What do you want our kids to act like, look like, sound like, no one can do because of each other, collectively? What's our vision? What we will do, though, it's about you today, as a group of staff, as a group of people, what are we going to act like, look like, sound like, no one can do because of each other? What's your vision? Do we want to be happy? Do you want to be respectful? So this is how it works. Can you get in 3s? And I think it'd be good if we broke up a bit, because we've been sitting with same old. Just get in a different, pair off in 3s around the room, different 3s, and you're going to speak for 1 minute about what your vision for the staff is. Each person's going to speak for a minute. Okay? So let's get up and move. Come on, let's move. Just fire a few up and I'll just write them up. Here we go, just fire them. Genuine. Ridgy Didge. Yeah?
Competent.
Is that personally and professionally? Yep. Supportive.
Happy.
Happy. Calm. Approachable. Wait, slow down. Appreciative. Hold on. Don't use too many big words. Yeah. Trusting. Trust. What? Trustworthy or? Okay. Respectful. Yeah. Oh. Hey, sorry? Empathetic. Empathetic. Oh, yeah. And there's a big difference between being empathetic and sympathetic. Sympathetic drives things away. You know, oh, your kid got kicked out of school. At least he's got another school to go to. That's sympathetic. That's all. They've always got at least statements in them. Okay, empathetic, yep. United we stand, divided we fall. Yeah.
Gratitude for the opportunity.
Yeah, gratitude, yeah. That's a beautiful strength, gratitude. Yeah. Inspiring. All right. Now, can I say a lot of people do visioning exercises, and you can do the same for your kids. If you do it for your kids, it'll be the same stuff. This is where we stop. So if you were going to say, for kids, resilience always there, okay? If you said to a kid, son, 14-year-old kid, I want you to be respectful. The kid would go, what the? True? So here's the hardest part. For supportive, what are 3 behaviours you would show to be supportive? Just in the tables, just talk about 3 behaviours you would show as a staff to be supportive. Some behaviours we would show to show that we're supportive of our colleagues. Please, behaviours. Show interest. Listen empathetically. Yeah? Yeah? Sorry? Take what? I'll give time, yeah? Okay, can I ask you this now? What are you going to do to give time? How are you going to create that situation in your school where people give time? Have you got staff members that do this? G'day mate, how you going? And you're gone and they haven't even had a chance to answer. You got them? Do we all fall guilty of that sometime? So one thing we've got to say is that when you say hello to someone, or someone says hello to you, stop. Stop. Instead of sending an email, get a post-it note and put in their pigeonhole. We had a rule, no emails under 10 people. Can't send an email if it's under 10 people. It's either pigeonhole or at staff. Can I just tell you another real good tip with emails? You know how many you get. I mean, I left 10 years ago and I was getting 80 a day then. If people don't go to the trouble of putting a good subject on it, you know what I mean, what it's about, just what I used to do 10 years ago, I just go delete, delete. I don't even open them. So if people don't take the time, if they don't think it's important enough to put a good subject, get rid of it. It's a good way to save time, give yourself time. Okay. For each of them, you've got to come up with how you're going to do them. Yeah? And that's a big one. I'll show you one that we did this. This was about, this took us about 2.5 hours to do this. Can you all see it? Can you see that? So to be respectful, that's what they're going to do. To be happy, that's what they're going to do. Wellbeing focused, that's what they're going to do. So they went and broke it up into behaviours, yeah? Remember, doing comes before what? Being. That's the doing on the right. On the left is the being. This is a fairly powerful document, isn't it? But guess where it came from? It came from the staff. And when we finished it, I can say it, you can't. I just said, in fact, this come from everyone in this room. Wasn't from the department, didn't come out of the front office. It come from us, yeah? If any of you can't live by all of this, there are teaching opportunities elsewhere. Go. Has anyone ever heard, but Mr. Jones, let's just do this? Who's heard in the class? Who's heard that? Have we all heard it? I'll tell you what, Mr. Jones is undermining and usurping every single one of us. Where are you, Jonesy? Yeah. There's always, that's why I use the name Jones or Smith, there's always one in the audience, right? So, oh, geez, sorry, mate. But the big one is, as soon as we've got a Mr. Jones, I think we've all been Mr. Joneses at times, haven't we? I've definitely been a Mr. Jones over the years, sometimes in my teaching. but self-awareness, yeah, you stop. Is that making sense? So that's a powerful document. You could make that from what's written on the board. You make it up. So, what do I press? Oh, that. Yeah. I just want to whiz through a few things. Tell me if this affects us. Can you see that, Fred? I might go on this side. That's not just the kids, that's us, isn't it? And I think conventional education is powerless. Look, that's where we've got to start doing more of this type of stuff. It's well above 1 in 4 now. It's well above 1 in 4. Last year, from the year 2016 to 2017, so 12 months, calls to Kids Helpline about suicide increased 22% in 1 year. How many? Yeah, mate.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing that they're asking for help, isn't it?
Yeah, because those 20% could have gone the last however many months without, without talking to someone.
Yeah. Did you hear what Brendan said? Yeah, I think it's a good thing in that sense, but isn't it a bad thing that we've allowed our young people to get to that stage? Yeah, it's bittersweet, I guess. So here's a bit of stuff. Here's some just mental stat things you might want to know about. So that's little kids, 5 to 9. This is 10 to 14. Males. 15 to 19. That's when the escalation, adolescent mental health happens. This one really makes me wild. The bottom one. They're more interested in kids' academic results than the kids' social emotional problems, which I find that concerning. Okay, this is to have a rest for a minute. So Melbourne Uni did a meta-analysis, came out in 2014, and they looked at what we need to do to build kind of future-proof kids. You have a look at some of the things we've done today. That's some of them. They're the resilience skills. You've looked at that? That's all of them. And you've got to use accurate language. That's when we copy. Now, I'll just say this to you. When you're in a classroom with kids, mirror neurons, either you're becoming the students or the students are becoming you. Mel, are your kids becoming you or are you becoming them? Just reflect for a minute. Are you becoming your students or are your students becoming you? Scary. If you're starting to become your students, that's when you look for this. Supportive. You go and share it. Andy Fuller. Anyone know Andrew Fuller? Good bloke. He sent me this about 18 months ago. He studied kids that crashed and burned. And all of them didn't have these things. They genuinely didn't believe they had love from the family. Second one, and I'll talk about that last. Third one, champion adult. You know what Rita talked about? They've got to have an adult in their life. This one here, there's quite a lot of kids who haven't got dots around the room, which means we haven't got a relationship with them. I think when you look at those kids, they're probably got one peer group. Kids who decide to end it usually have one peer group. So that's if you see a kid that's only got one peer group, get them into a footy team, get them into a dancing club, get them into is everyone with me? Because inevitably, is that peer group going to fall over? You need to have another one to go to. So that's a big one, peer groups. And when Lynn and I tow the van into towns, I'm sorry to be sombre at the moment, but I'm telling you, every town's been hit. And I go in there and they say, Lynn and I often go way out of our way to go and help the school. And this is what really upsets me, but he wasn't that type of kid. And I thought, I'd always fire back. I said, if you knew what type of kid it was, no one would ever do it. So all we can do is provide strengths, you know, all the things we've done today. Can we do that? Is that doable? Can we do it while we're teaching our classes? Can you have these conversations in class with kids? You'll get a lot more maths done. I'll give you the mail. A lot more. I'll probably write an article, because I've got to write article stuff. I'll write it on a laptop. And we'll have a conversation, I'll be writing an article. If I want to write something really good, on the plane on the way down, I have a bit of paper and a pen, and I write it. Is everyone with me? So if you want to get kids connected, or you want to connect to you, write. Great wellbeing, a great wellbeing fitness challenge is every morning get up and write aimlessly whatever comes into your head for 3 minutes. Pick up a pen and just write whatever comes into your head. It really clears out a lot of rubbish. Aimless writing, it's called. Okay, I've never done this. No, I did this, last time I did this was 10 years ago. So this could be an absolute disaster, or it could be a cracker. We're in fives, and I'll show you how it works. Can I have 4 people come out here, please? This is a bit about teamwork, all right? I need 4 people. What are you doing under the table, Matt? Hello. Oh, no, it's my ball. Oh, Brendan's here. So this is how it works. Now we've got 1, 2, I taught maths, we've only got 4. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's get round. Yep. No, it's just, no, so yeah, in a circle. So the way it works, right. The ball has to fly through the air, yeah? And it's not allowed to go to the next person next to you. So one thing is across, 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 back to me. Has everyone got it? It's always got to come back to me. And it's got to fly. You can't roll it. So here we go. Has everyone got the drift? To create a product of something we've produced, you've got to do 8 laps without dropping it or without stuffing up. So we'll just do 3. Off way. Here we go. 1. 2. 3. Okay. What you do, you time it. So someone that's on their watch, time it. Then after we've done the 8, we're going to try and beat it by 10 seconds. So you've got to find a more innovative way of getting the ball to each other. Has everyone got the drift? So in 5s, let's do it. Okay? Okay, everyone. Let's make a start, eh? We don't need our laptops, and we're finishing at 3 o'clock. Is that all right? No one wants to finish at 2. Don't. Okay. I need my hat. Okay. Thanks, Bridget, for a sensational lunch. You here, Bridget? So, thank you. Thanks very much. Let's give her a hand, eh? Okay. Gratitude, a wonderful strength to show often. So, I said 1 million people didn't wake up this morning. Every day is just fantastic, I reckon. It's a gift, so let's enjoy it. We're going to talk a bit about neuroscience now and do some fun activities. But we just want to make this point, and I called it a cold, hard, distant science. Neuroscientists know how our brains work. Like, for instance, I see schools that are taking drama and music and that out of the curriculum and replacing it with more academic stuff. Can I tell you what happens with that? Music is the only thing that lights up every single component in your brain. Playing an instrument is even better. So music and play really goes berserk. So here we go. A bit of positive priming. Fabulous first 5 minutes.
My asthma. They said they'd fix it, but it didn't make any difference at all.
Well, sometimes doctors make mistakes. Anna, you have to try twice as hard to fix them. Are you using your inhaler?
All the time. Go through one a week.
You sure you're using it right?
Do I look like an idiot?
No. Why don't you show me how your inhaler works?
Positive emotions drive motivation. Motivation drives learning. Okay? Positive emotions. So my mate Con that says kids who are loved, they've got positive emotions, come to school to learn. Kids that aren't loved come to school to be loved, to experience positive emotions. Is everyone with me there? Don't underestimate wasting time doing stuff like that. It's not wasting time. It's really setting the seed. Okay. Neuroscience. Put my hat on. I can't talk about this unless it's on. Right, hold on. Just adjust my prefrontal cortex. That's right. Okay, is that sitting all right? Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you. All right. Who has heard of the reticular activating system? Wow. The RAS. You heard about it, Jeremy? Oh. Jeremy's sitting there going, yeah. Okay, just quickly. What your RAS is, and it's a real thing, it's a real thing. They can see messages travelling up your spine, travelling all around your head. And now with this functional magnetic, they can see the messages that get cut off. So what your RAS does, it's at the base there, top of your spine, and it is your your neural spam filter. So yesterday when I flew down from the Goldie, landed in Melbourne, can you imagine an infinite number of noises, sounds, things happening? Yeah? Infinite. Was my brain processing all of those? It'd blow up, wouldn't it? If it was. So my RAS was just saying, Mick, you don't need to hear this, you don't need to process. Yeah? It's a big thing. Because just remember, if as teachers we introduce something to kids or colleagues and they don't think it's important, their RAS won't even let it get through their brain. You know, well, Jill, Steve, you know when you got staff that you're talking about something and they're just not even interested? It's not even getting through there, get processed. Same with kids. We've got to show a reason to focus on it. So here's our RAS. It's 3 minutes, but it's a ripper. Explains what it is, and it's a real thing.